Hello everybody, hope y'all are doing well and hope y'all are staying safe. This is Dimple here again welcoming y'all back to my next tutorial on Android framework components. So in today's session we'll see one of the very interesting feature which was introduced from Android Oreo onwards, that is nothing but rescue party in Android. We have faced many situations where our devices will be booting continuously. It will be in a boot loop, okay? And in such situation, what we have to do, we have to either go back to our OEMs and the device manufacturers and get it repaired. So Android 8 here includes a feature that sends out rescue party when it notices core system components stuck in crash loops. Okay, so what will happen when your system server is crashed, for example, the booting will be in a loop. Okay, so when such core system components are stuck in this crash loops, rescue party is coming into picture. So what rescue party will do, it will escalate through a series of actions in order to recover the device. It has certain steps. So it will perform step 1, it will try if the device is recovered. If it is not recovered, it will escalate to the step 2, then it will check if the device is recovered. If it is not recovered in step 2 also, it will escalate to level 3. Finally what it will do, if none of the methods is working, finally it will perform a factory reset or data reset. So when that is done, all the problems will be solved and your device will be restarted. So rescue party, the main intention is this one. Okay, whenever our device is stuck in crash loops, that time it will perform certain series of steps and finally it will recover the device by doing factory reset. So it receives information about boot and crash events and when this rescue party will be triggered. We should know that, right? So rescue party will be triggered under 2 conditions. What is that conditions? The first condition is that the system server restarts more than 5 times in 5 minutes. So if my system server has crashed and if my system server restarts more than 5 times in 5 minutes, rescue party will be triggered. Also, one more condition is that a persistent system app crashes more than 5 times in 30 seconds. So if my system application crashes more than 5 times in 30 seconds, that time also rescue party will be triggered. So rescue party will be enabled by default from Android Oreo onwards and the implementation is there in services core Java com Android server rescue party.java. I will go through this file at the end of the session and the same thing I wanted to stress on this, so I have highlighted here. So rescue party will be triggered if the system server restarts more than 5 times in 5 minutes. And one more condition is that a persistent system app crashes more than 5 times in 30 seconds. And I already told you it will keep escalating itself to the next level. Finally, if nothing works, final level prompts the user to factory reset the device. So all rescue events are suppressed when the device has an active USB data connection, because that's a strong signal that someone is debugging the device. So this rescue party will not be triggered if I have connected my device to the PC via USB cable. This is one condition. Another condition is that if I have an engineering image on my device or user debug image on my device, in those conditions also rescue party will not be triggered. So that point I have not added here. So another point you all can add here is if my device is having engineering build or user debug build, which is basically a developer build where they are using to debug and implement their code. Okay, it's not an official release. So in the developer build or user build, user debug build or engineering build, rescue party will not be triggered. So you can trigger a system or UI crash loop to trigger a low-level system crash loop. So you can trigger the system crash loop using this adb command. Okay, so if you give adb shell set prop debug underscore crash underscore system, and if you set the value as 1, the system server crash loop will be triggered. And system UI crash loop, if you want to trigger, you have to use adb shell set prop debug underscore crash underscore system UI. Okay, so both these crash loops initiate the rescue logic, and all rescue operations are also logged to the persistent package manager logs, which are stored at. So all this rescue party related logs, right, what exactly is going on and what wrong has happened, what mistake has happened, what error has happened, all that data will be stored in, all that logs will be stored in data system uid errors dot text file for later inspection and debugging. So these persistent logs are also included in every bug report under the package warning messages section. Okay, now I'll be going to the code. So this is my rescue party.java file, which is present in framework based services core java com android server partition. So in this particular location I can find my rescue party.java file. So if I scroll down, there are few strings which are initialized. Enable rescue party persist sys enable rescue. So if this persist sys enable rescue, if this system property is set to true, that time I have enabled rescue party to be triggered whenever system server crashes or system UI crashes. So if I do not want this rescue party to be triggered on my device, I can always go ahead and disable that using this get property. So using the system property persist sys disable underscore rescue, I can always disable my rescue party, and it will have a boot count and boot start. And I had told you, right, it will escalate through a series of levels. So these are the different levels. Level none is having a value of 0, and level 1 is level reset settings untrusted defaults. So all the untrusted default settings it will reset in level 1. Next higher level, when it escalates, it will reset settings untrusted changes. This untrusted changes, it will reset those settings. When it escalates to higher level, which is level 3, it will reset settings trusted defaults. All the trusted default settings will be resetted. And the final and the last level is factory reset, which is having a value 4. So if all these one by one is failing, finally it will come to the last level. It will prompt the user to do a factory reset, after which they will be not seeing this issue of booting anymore, continuous booting anymore. So to count how many times the device has been booted, they are having a variable here, boot loops, to count the boot loops, and also to count the crash loops they are having SAPS variable here. And this function is disabled. Okay, this function will tell when the rescue party will be disabled. See, you all can see here, if prop enable rescue. So if this property is not enabled by the user, that time false value will be given. That means this, it is returning false, which means rescue party will be disabled. So if you want a rescue party to be triggered, you have to explicitly enable this system property persist sys enable rescue. So if that is not enabled, by default it is passing false, which means rescue party will not be triggered. Next, it will check if we are using engineering build. Okay, so rescue party will be disabled on all engineering devices. Similarly, it will also check if the user debug device, we are using user debug device, or if we have connected over USB. Okay, so if we are connected over USB, again rescue party will be disabled. And last obvious thing is, if I explicitly disable this flag system property, that time obviously rescue party will be disabled. That time we are returning true. So yeah, so its disabled function, basically it will have a different checks under which circumstances rescue party should be triggered. So after that, we have a function to take a note of the boot event. Okay. So here, as I already told, if the system server or any system core component will boot for 5 times in 5 minutes, that time rescue party will be triggered. So here the counting will begin. Here, for any app crash, system UI crash, that part will happen here. So if there are too many UI crashes happening in rapid succession, we'll send out a rescue party. And if the level, the final level, the value of 4, which I showed here, right? So factory reset is having a value of 4. So if that is the final level is equal to factory reset, then we are attempting the factory reset. We are attempting to reboot for a factory reset. So here it's just escalating to the next level. So first level it will check, if it's not working it will add +1 and escalate to the next level. If it's not working, final level it will go back to the factory reset. So that code or that logic is handled in this increment rescue level function. Execute rescue level, here every rescue level is incremented, we land up in the next levels. So what exactly has to be executed in each level, that is handled by this execute rescue level. So it is writing event logs. So in your event log, you'll get to know if rescue is success or failure, all such things. And in package manager also, you can see certain logs, finished rescue level. If it is has failed for any reason, you can see failed rescue level logs if you collect logs from your device. So this is again execute rescue level internal, where there is a switch case having the different levels, each case for a different levels, and it will reset all the settings in that particular level. So when factory reset is entered, it will prompt a reboot to wipe all the user data. So we reset all settings. So here we are calling reset all settings from each level, right? So when we call that, pointer will be landed in this particular function. So it's getting a content resolver and it is resetting to the default user, all the settings to the default user. That means it is equivalent to all the settings you were seeing when you purchased your phone as a fresh new device. Okay, so all the data will be lost and the default user data will be there. So here it's calling this get all user IDs, and it is checking here and it's setting all the user ID data related to particular user ID. It's resetting it to default. So here this threshold of what it will do, it is just having a count of all that when is a boot, when the boot was triggered and how many times it was triggered, how many times anything was crashed, all those things it is having a count here. Same increment and test function also. Boot threshold also we can see here it's counting for 5 times. Get count, set count, all these system properties we can query through ADB shell and get when exactly it was started, the timing, or if we want to explicitly set any timing for the boot to start, all those things we can handle here. So this get all user IDs where I called here, when I call there, the pointer will be landing here. So is USB active? This function was called from the first function is disabled, right? To check if USB is connected. So that time the control will come here. It will start reading a file from this system class Android USB Android state. Okay, from this it will come to know if USB is connected or no. That's all. So this function is called from the very beginning is disabled, whatever I showed in the first. So is USB active. When I call this, the control goes here. Yeah, that's pretty much I wanted to tell about Rescue Party. So basically in this Java file, I wanted to show you all the different types of levels where Rescue Party will be escalated to each level, and finally factory reset, and under what conditions the Rescue Party feature will be disabled, and what are the system properties to enable or disable Rescue Party. And basically you'll get an idea about how to set the boot count, how they are checking the count, the time, all those things. So yeah, that's it. I hope this was informative. I'll see y'all in my next tutorial. Until then, everyone, take care. Thank you.